All right, Dr. JJ, eggnog ice cream.
That's right. You know, I mean, eggnog is a quintessential holiday drink, so why not turn it into something, especially so hot outside, something nice and cold and frosty right now.
Okay, what exactly is the history of eggnog before we get started?
Okay, so eggnog's really interesting because in the medieval 13th century, they had a drink called posset, and posset was sherry and milk and eggs. And then in the 13th century, because there was the nobility drank sherry and milk and eggs and created this sort of nog, they used it for festive toasts. And then when it came over the pond to America and we had ample chickens and eggs and really cheap rum, then eggnog definitely dug its feet in and became a traditional holiday drink.
I didn't hear a word you just said. This is so
I did.
Well,
I heard everything. It was womp, 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 womp.
You got Charlie Brown's teacher. You got started a little earlier today.
We did. And I'll tell you, the nice thing about this base in the ice cream is that it is vanilla if you don't add the rum and the nutmeg. So that being said, we put some half and half and some corn syrup and a pinch of salt, heated it up on the stove till it was 150 degrees. Pour some sugar into some egg yolks. This is what makes that great custardy consistency until they're very light yellow. And when you pull the beater up, what you want to see is a thick ribbon coming down. And then what we do is temper the eggs because we want to be able to mix these two solutions. We don't want to scramble the eggs, so you just pour it in just a tiny little bit at a time until it's all incorporated and the outside of the bowl feels warm. That's the key thing to know when this is ready to go back on the stove.
Okay.
And then we bring it back on the stove and we heat this to 180 degrees until a line that we make with our finger across the spoon gives us that straight line. And that means the eggs are food safe. They're up to 180 degrees, and also our custard is the perfect consistency to load into the ice cream
I'm
maker.
glad you said that because it was already in my belly.
That's right.
So what we do now is that we take this cooked custard and we strain it because sometimes there's a little teeny bit of egg in the bottom.
Why can't you just eat the custard? Can
Well, you could, I suppose, if you added whipped cream, you could make some very.
we wouldn't have ice cream.
That's true.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
true.
the custard's delicious.
Okay, so
I want
that-
eggnog custard as well.
That's the custard, and then we add heavy cream. And I purposely reduced the sugar in this because to me, eggnog that's commercial is way, way, way too sweet.
Very sweet,
We
correct.
add some vanilla.
That's the first thing Shirley said. It's not too sweet.
And I've added actually whiskey to this, and then
Okay.
we add some freshly grated nutmeg. And the key thing is that you want these flavors to cure, so you want this to sit in the fridge for at least 2 to 4 hours so it gets nice and cold. And once it's cold, then you put it in your ice cream maker.
Are we going to put some salt in here too?
Oh, we can. We actually put it in at the very beginning, but here's the point. Good point taken. You can taste this now very safely, even though it has eggs in it, because the eggs are food safe. And this is a perfect time to adjust your flavoring. And so salt will bring out the nuances often.
That's good.
Not only in nog, but also in chocolate and things like that. So we actually put this into our ice cream maker, and we get this beautiful consistency, and then you want to cover it and put it in the freezer for about 2 hours so that it hardens enough. But right straight out of here, you probably would
Question, JJ.
enjoy
Oh my goodness, you could eat it straight out of there too.
a little bit of a bite too.
JJ. So
good.
There you go.
I thought I was eating, like this was chocolate, but it's not.
No, it's not. So that's a vegan eggnog, and that's a really interesting one because we made it with cashew milk, unsweetened, coconut cream for the creaminess, and then sweetened it with dates and coconut sugar.
Wow.
And then I put rum in that one and nutmeg.
Ew.
So
Delicious.
Do you have it?
You know, I noticed it's super, super creamy. And is it true, like when you add liquor, even if it's not like an eggnog base, it makes it creamier, it keeps the icicles? Is that true or
actually,
false?
it retards the freezing, so it takes longer to churn your ice cream. So you want to add your booze at the end, but for these purposes, the booze helps cure the flavor.
Okay.
But what makes that creamy is something called agar, and it's actually powdered seaweed, and it gives you this gelatinous consistency when you're not using eggs.
I believe
Better living through chemistry.
Larry has a question for you.
Do you have a recipe for recovery?
Yes, Larry, I have.
For those of us
For those of you
who
who
can't have.
or won't have or refuse to have.
Yeah.
You can use rum extract, and actually there are other extracts like brandy extract and whiskey extract, and they work very, very well. And just use a teaspoon; they're very powerful.
Well, somebody's on our nice list this year.
I thought you were going to eat the ice cream off of Larry's head.
Well, I just ate the little whipped cream. I did not, for those in my home group at home.
Well, Matt Rogers, there's ice cream for you now.